The morning light sliced through the half-drawn curtains, casting long shadows across the king-sized bed where Elena lay alone. Marcus had left hours earlier, as he always did, without a word or a kiss goodbye. Only a blinking blue light on her phone acknowledged his absence, a voicemail. She played it out of habit. "Morning, babe. Got an early case. Probably won't be home until late. Don't wait up." The screen dimmed. That was it. No softness in his tone, no question about her day, just a routine message from a man who'd slowly become a stranger in a tailored suit. Elena pulled the sheets tighter, not out of cold, but out of habit. Habit was all she seemed to have left. At 34, Elena had the kind of beauty that turned heads, but rarely hearts anymore. Her sharp cheekbones and stormy gray eyes once drew Marcus like a moth to flame. Now, they passed each other like colleagues in a quiet office, cordial, brief, indifferent. She moved through her morning ritual with robotic grace. Makeup on, blazer buttoned, hair swept into a bun that said, "I'm too busy to care, but I still look good doing it." Her job in marketing demanded poise and polish, and she gave it willingly. It was outside the office where she felt unseen. That night, she attended a networking gala hosted at a downtown rooftop. Marcus had RSVP'd weeks ago, then bailed last minute with a curt, "You'll be fine without me." And she was. But something inside her resented that she always had to be. The rooftop buzzed with chatter and clinking glasses. Elena stood by the bar, cradling a stem of dry rose, pretending to read a name tag that wasn't there. The city lights blinked in the background, matching the rhythm of her detachment. "Is that your tactic?" a voice asked behind her. "Avoid eye contact until the room clears out?" She turned. He was tall, with a confidence that wasn't loud but deeply settled, like he belonged wherever he stood. His name tag read Trent. No company listed. Just his name and a smirk that threatened to stay. "I was actually just about to leave," Elena said, not moving. "Shame," he replied, stepping beside her. "You're the only person here who looks like they don't want to sell me something." She chuckled, a genuine sound, catching herself off guard. Their conversation flowed effortlessly. Trent spoke with a boldness that was never overbearing. He asked questions, remembered details, and listened like she was the only voice in the room. He didn't talk about himself unless asked, and when he did, he made her laugh, something Marcus hadn't managed in weeks. When Trent brushed a hand against her arm as he reached for his drink, she didn't flinch. But she didn't lean in either. As the night wind picked up, she finally stood. "I should go," she said, adjusting her jacket. "Then let me give you my number," Trent offered, already pulling out his phone. She hesitated. "I can't," she said softly. He tilted his head. "Can't or shouldn't?" She smiled, stepped back, and disappeared into the elevator before answering. Back home, the apartment was dark. Marcus had kept his word. He wasn't there. She stepped out of her heels and sank into the couch, the scent of Trent's cologne still faint on her blazer. The next morning, as she sipped her coffee, a message popped up on her phone. Instagram. A name she hadn't seen in years. Jace. "Hey, Lena. I'm in town. Saw your profile through a friend. Would love to catch up if you're free." Her breath caught. Jace wasn't just an old flame. He was the flame. The one who got away. The one who knew her before the titles, the job, the quiet marriage. He had once kissed her like he was making promises with his mouth. And she had believed every single one, until life pulled them in different directions. She stared at the message for a full minute before typing. One drink can't hurt. She didn't hit send. Not yet. She looked around her apartment, pristine, quiet, curated. Everything in its place. Nothing out of order, except her. And then, slowly, deliberately, she pressed send. A thrill crept up her spine. Elena had always been composed. Careful. Faithful. But something about that rooftop, about Trent's voice, about Jace's sudden reappearance, it cracked a part of her she thought was sealed. The message was out, and there was no taking it back. The restaurant was dim, intimate, all dark wood, soft lighting, and velvet booths designed for secrets. Elena arrived first, already regretting the way her heart skipped at the thought of seeing Jace again. It had been 10 years, yet she still remembered the cadence of his voice, the way his hand would find the small of her back without thinking. He arrived in a charcoal coat and a grin that hadn't aged a day. "Lena," he said, drawing her into a hug that lingered just one breath too long. "You look better than memory allows." She laughed, smoothing down her coat. "I wasn't sure this was a good idea." "That's the best kind," he said, sliding into the booth across from her. Their conversation flowed like old wine, rich, familiar, and just a little bitter. They reminisced about college, their favorite professors, nights they thought would never end. Beneath it all pulsed an undercurrent neither of them named. "So," Jace leaned in, voice lowering, "are you happy?" It was a simple question, but Elena blinked, caught off guard. Her silence said more than she meant it to. Before she could answer, a voice cut through the ambient jazz behind them. "Elena?" She turned. Noelle, Marcus's best friend, dressed in casual slacks and a navy shirt, holding a glass of whiskey. He looked equally surprised to see her, but his eyes immediately flicked to Jace, then back to her. "Noelle," she said, forcing composure. "What are you doing here?" "Work dinner nearby. Thought I'd stop in for a nightcap," he replied, stepping closer. "Didn't know you were out tonight." "This is Jace," she said stiffly. "An old friend." Jace stood, extending a hand. College days. Noelle's handshake was firm, his smile unreadable. "Nice to meet you." They exchanged a few pleasantries before Noelle offered Elena a ride home. She almost said no. Almost. In the car, silence stretched like thread between them. "You looked surprised," she said finally. "I was," Noelle answered. "You don't usually go out without Marcus. Especially not like that." She turned toward the window. "Marcus and I don't really move in sync anymore." Noelle's fingers tightened on the steering wheel. "I've known him a long time. He's a good man. But lately, I'm not sure he's been a good husband." Elena's breath caught. She wasn't expecting sympathy. Not from Noelle. "He doesn't see you," Noelle added quietly. "But I do." The words sat heavy in the air between them. She didn't respond. She couldn't. Back at home, Elena couldn't sleep. She scrolled through her phone, through messages she never opened, through photos she hadn't deleted. A new notification appeared. "Trent. Hey. Got your contact through the gala guest list. Hope I'm not overstepping." She stared at the message for a long moment, then typed, "Overstepping can be interesting." They met the following night at a speakeasy tucked behind a bookstore downtown. Trent was already waiting, 2 cocktails in hand, his smile easy. "You came," he said, offering her the drink. "I needed a break," she replied. "From everything." They sat close. Closer than necessary. His hand brushed hers once. Then again. Each time lingered longer. Conversation turned to music, to travel, to moments in life when you choose what's wrong because it finally feels right. He leaned in. "There's a party tonight. Friends of mine, rooftop view, bad decisions guaranteed. You in?" She hesitated, then nodded. The rooftop pulsed with soft lights and pulsing bass. The crowd was small but stylish, the kind of people who didn't blink at late-night invitations. Elena stood at the edge, drink in hand, watching the skyline when she heard a familiar laugh behind her. "Jace." Her heart jolted. He spotted her immediately and walked over, drink raised. "So we meet again." "I didn't know you'd be here," she said, stunned. "Friend of a friend," he smiled. "Fate." Before she could answer, a third voice joined them. "Elena?" She turned. "Noelle." She blinked, disbelief flooding her chest. "What are you doing here?" "Colleague dragged me along," he said, eyes flicking between the 2 men. 3 men. 1 rooftop. All eyes on her. Trent stepped beside her, placing a hand lightly at her lower back. Jace narrowed his gaze. Noelle said nothing, but his expression darkened. Elena's breath grew shallow. The air around her felt electric, too charged to breathe in. She took a step away from them all, needing distance, needing clarity. And one of them followed. Elena woke to the faint hum of the city below, and the sterile chill of an unfamiliar room. For a moment, her mind struggled to place the ceiling above her, the silk sheets tangled around her legs, and the weight of the decision she had made the night before. Then she turned and saw Trent, shirtless, asleep beside her. A knot tightened in her stomach. The thrill that once bubbled beneath her skin was now sour, clinging like smoke after a fire. She sat up quietly, careful not to wake him, and reached for her dress, still draped over the arm of a leather chair. Her phone buzzed. A message from Marcus. "Home early. Thought we'd grab dinner tonight. Your favorite, already picked up the wine." Elena stared at the screen. Her throat dried. He had remembered. She slipped out without a goodbye, walking briskly through the quiet corridors of the high-rise, each step echoing like a verdict. She hailed a cab with trembling hands, replaying flashes of the rooftop, Jace's laugh, Noelle's stare, Trent's whisper at her ear. At home, Marcus greeted her at the door, still in sweatpants and a t-shirt, the scent of roasted garlic drifting from the kitchen. "You look tired," he said, brushing a kiss against her temple. "Long night." She nodded, unable to meet his eyes. "Just needed air." He poured her a glass of wine, the good one she always saved for guests. "I've been thinking," he said as she sat stiffly on the couch. "I know I haven't been around much. That changes." "I want it to change." Elena stared into the glass. The weight of his words landed heavy. Too late, too misplaced. Or maybe just too soon after last night's unraveling. He sat beside her, hopeful. But she felt miles away. In the bathroom, she closed the door and leaned against it, her reflection fractured in the mirror. Her hair was tousled, her lipstick faint, but her eyes, they were haunted. There was no hiding from herself. Another buzz. "Jace, still thinking about you." "Trent, last night was unforgettable." And then, "Noelle, we need to talk." She deleted Jace's message first, then Trent's. But Noelle's, she hesitated. Her finger hovered, uncertain. She didn't know what she wanted from him, only that his voice last night, low, firm, disappointed, still echoed in her chest. Later that evening, she agreed to meet him. They sat in a quiet cafe tucked between buildings like secrets between pages. Noelle looked tired, not angry, just resigned. "I should have stopped you last night," he said without greeting. Elena stirred her tea. "I wouldn't have listened." He nodded. "Probably not." A silence passed between them, not cold but weighty. "Honest." "I don't judge you," Noelle said finally. "You're human. We all are. But I knew something was breaking in you, and I didn't say enough." Her throat tightened. "Marcus doesn't see me anymore." "I know," he said. "But do you?" That question stunned her. She looked away, blinking fast. "You're not the woman I used to know," Noelle said gently. "But I think you're still in there. Underneath the guilt. The noise." He stood, dropping a few bills on the table. "I hope you find her again." And then he left, not waiting for her to respond. That night, Elena walked home in silence, the city's lights blurring like watercolors around her. At her door, she paused. She could hear Marcus humming softly in the kitchen. It was a tune from years ago, one he used to sing when they slow-danced barefoot in their first apartment. Inside, the table was set. Her favorite pasta, her favorite wine, candles lit. But something had changed. She stepped into the doorway. Marcus turned and smiled, but she didn't move. Her eyes were hollow, her lips still. Voiceover. "3 men reminded me what it felt like to be seen, desired, chosen. But none of them could answer the question I feared most. When did I stop seeing myself?" The screen dimmed. Only Elena's silhouette remained, caught in the golden haze of home, her past behind her, her choices ahead.